stinky? Nah, you said stinky. She said every time she links, it's gonna be stinky. What does that mean? Every time she links, it's gonna be stinky. What does that mean? It's gonna be stinky? Why does it stink? What's the purpose? Why is it stinky?
Why is it stinky? Because I didn't take a shower for days.
I'm Julie Slowick, and tonight it'll be our pleasure.
What's up, stream?
Chef Slowick is an internationally renowned cook.
I only got one view, so it's fine.
Island. He's able to
We can always VOD it back though and look at what was said.
And command an adoring
I can always VOD it. It's gonna be saved,
At first
so
glance, it seems as if he's reached the
at the beginning of it, I can go
pinnacle.
back and see what you said. Cause she said every time she links, it's gonna be stinky. It's cause she smokes good weed. It stinks.
Being exploited.
Thank you for dining with us tonight. You represent the ruin of my art and my life.
Just look at each of the guests that are invited to dine at Hawthorne that fateful night.
Oh, there's ongoing obsession with snow.
It's officially a plague and no one is immune.
Lillian, the critic, and Ted, the publisher, suck the pleasure out of cooking by using it to advance their careers. They hunt for the next scoop by inventing new words, finding minor faults, and reading into everything that the chef does.
There's a neediness to the plating, you know? I mean, it's been too easy to fuck, but the flavors are there. It's very clean. It's very, thalassic.
Oh.
You
And money. You're working money. Yeah, baby.
We're pathetic, aren't we? Oh my god, dude. Somebody shoot us.
The finance bros embezzle money into their own pockets instead of supporting Slowick and the restaurant staff, the ones that are actually producing value.
What are these?
These are tortillas, which contain EcoBright's tax records and other documents showing how your company has created invoices with fake charges.
Doug Verrick is my angel investor.
Get the
He owns
fuck
the
out of
silent
here. They got
restaurant.
called the
The
fuck
angel
out.
investor commodifies Slowick's craft, leading to the chef's creative decisions being compromised in the pursuit of profits.
When he questioned my menu, he would even request substitutions, despite the fact that there are no substitutions at Hawthorne! My loyal regulars, how many times have you eaten here in the last 5 years?
I don't know, 6 or 7.
The billionaire regulars only dine at Hawthorne so that they can maintain their status as elites, without actually caring about the food being served.
Mr. Liebrand, kindly name one dish you ate the last time you were here.
Do you make that with a Paco jet?
Exactly right, sir.
You know, a Paco jet can produce a powderized, snow-like texture.
Tyler uses the fame of Slowick and his restaurant to uphold his identity as a man of wealth and taste that supposedly knows everything about fine dining.
Everyone gather around. We must learn from Tyler. There's a new dicing method of which we have been woefully ignorant.
It's not brain surgery, okay?
Okay,
it's
so
a
then do
goddamn travel food show.
Yeah, so pitch it to me.
The movie star uses Hawthorne as practice for an upcoming food show that might revive his own career without really noticing what he's eating.
How is
Good
it?
old John, he still looks good.
It's good.
Gosh, John still looks good. He's aging very well.
Each of the diners are takers. Not only do they physically take the food they are given, but they also take the opportunities of dining at an elite restaurant to further their own goals and stroke their own egos.
You love that I texted you an invitation for this evening. Me yearning for your attendance. Your ego was fed.
This is all done at the expense of Slowick, who has gradually seen all the pleasure drain from his art. He no longer enjoys making food and serving his customers.
Oh, I used to.
Gosh, that would
I
suck.
haven't desired to cook for someone in ages.
The
That
only
sucks.
one that doesn't use
Yeah,
Hawthorne
like,
for their
it's your
own
art
gain
and no
is
one
Margot.
appreciates your art
This
and
is
you're a
something
fucking
that
chef.
baffles Slowick. He
That
has
would
become
suck.
so accustomed to guests exploiting him that
Like, I can
the
imagine
minute
that for
someone refuses
myself.
to
Like,
take, he
I've been
becomes suspicious.
doing like being a chef for so long, and no one like.
I've served many Margos. You're not a Margot.
No.
Of course,
But okay,
it soon becomes
it's
clear
along the
why
lines what you're
Margot
saying.
doesn't
There's people
take.
that are like
She
savants, like
herself
creating
is a
stuff. Something's
service
wrong with
worker
him,
in
you know.
disguise.
Like he has a passion in like what he's doing. Like he has a passion in cooking.
But my name is.
But all these people are
Using the emotional intelligence
they
that
don't
she's
really
learned in her
appreciate it.
career,
Is that's what he's getting
Margot
to.
is able to deduce the parasitic
They don't
relationship that
appreciate
links
it. They're only
each of
using it
Slowick's
for, like he's
guests.
saying, the one
She is
dude, the
also
actor's
able
trying to
to
use it
discover
for
that once upon a time,
his show.
Slowick was able to
The
find
billionaires
joy
are
and
only there to
fulfillment in his
eat it, and
craft,
they're not
not
there to
when he was
taste
making
it. The one people are there just to make up new words for it and basically critique it. And these people are food critiques, so they don't like it. It's gonna ruin his dining experience. So
of course,
he's saying
the
adding these people all
embodiment of this
together
simple,
basically
delightful
sucks for
food
him. 'Cause
is the mighty cheeseburger. To some, most notably snobs, it may seem mundane and mass-produced, especially when compared to haute cuisine, but to others it is simply a tasty treat that can be exquisite if made well. This parallels the world of fine art, where genres such as still life were historically looked down upon when compared to more highbrow art forms like religious painting. Of course, this didn't stop great artists like Cézanne from painting the same apples over and over again. Gifted with a unique insight into the chef's life, Margot can see that Slowick was truly happy when he was simply flipping burgers at Hamburger Howie's back in the late 1980s. Since then, it's clear that he's been pressured to elevate his craft to the rigorous standards expected by the status-obsessed customers and critics that he now does, standards that he still cannot meet.
What people are doing in the
trying to
it's what
satisfy
they're getting.
people
It's
who
easy.
can never
The
be
modern
satisfied.
world is getting away
With
from
this knowledge,
the easy.
Margot
Let me
gives
AI.
the
Let me go to the
opportunity to do
keyboard
something
and
he has
type it
been
in stuff. So I don't have to
craving,
make
to
stuff
cook
no
a
more.
meal that
That's
his
why you got
customer
ultra processed
actually
food, so you don't have to
wants.
make shit anymore.
What are you
Like,
hungry for?
you don't have to cook.
You know what I'd really like?
And then now,
Tell me.
and now even like being a
A cheeseburger.
even him being a chef,
Despite its simplicity as
all
a
those
dish,
tastes and
the
flavors
chef
are going
clearly
away because
finds
the
far
world
more
is
enjoyment in
making
cooking
the,
a burger than anything else
I
he's
wanna,
cooked
instead
that
of enjoying
evening.
this food,
He
I want to
gives
make a
attention
show out of
to
it.
every
I want to be
detail,
critics
right
and make
down
up
to
new
the
words
type
that
of fry
judges
and the
about
qualities of
it.
the cheese
I'm a
he's melting.
fanboy. I think I know
American
what I'm
cheese
talking
is the
about, but I
best
don't really
cheese for a
know what it
cheeseburger
means
because
to
it
get in
melts
there
without
and put
splitting.
my feelings
The
into this
straightforward
food and stuff
task
like
of
that. I know what it
making a
is by
cheeseburger
definition, but I
reminds
don't know what it
Slowick
is
of why
what
he
to
began
make,
cooking
how to
and
put my
why
sweat
he
and
fell in
tears
love with
and love
it.
into
The
this shit.
simple act of preparing a simple meal for someone who is truly grateful for it. Like Cézanne, Slowick is liberated by completely disregarding the hierarchy of art and plainly enjoying the process of making. Instead of taking away from the arts, as have all of the other guests, Margot has actually given something back to Slowick. She has given him a Proustian moment, transporting him back to a time when he could just make good food without any fear of judgment. This is why Margot is allowed to escape and keep her cheeseburger. Thanks for watching.
What it is,
If you
it's a
enjoyed this
good.
video,
That's what I was explaining. You just need that one person that appreciate what you're doing, and you can't forget about them. Can't. So it's like me streaming and Chris, Cryptic, that people that come in and generally watch me because they want to watch me and they want me to talk, and I'm just hanging out with me. Like, and then if I do get views or I do get into like famous or anything like that, or even like just locally or anything like that, not even just notice. Like, you can't forget about these people that generally were there for you always. That's what all these people do. And that's what I would say 85% of these content creators and streamers do. I'd say not streamers, but content. Well, yeah, no, content creators, not streamers. Content creators, you can kind of manipulate it. But when you're streaming, you're more manipulating because you only want certain people in your views, and then you start looking at the chats.
Is Mr. Julius right here?
Yes.
Here we go. What is this, man? Oh my god.
Okay. Do you want to play rough? Okay. Shut up.
As the title suggests, this is another episode of Struggle. Always good to keep struggling.
You wanna know?
Who are the 5?
If you're here because you want me to break Drake and Kendrick.
Yeah, when there's clouds, everybody gets scared for some reason. Like it hits every year. It's like it hits every year here. Like it hits every year since May 3rd, 2000, when that was. Yeah, everybody flips out like it's gonna hit, and then people get anxiety. Like, okay, well, you can fucking watch these storms. What? And then, I guess the rant I'm about to get to. Here we go. We'll go big face cam for this. Oklahoma, where it always supposedly gets hit by storms and tornadoes, and the only time that it hits this area is in May 3rd, and then what, 08, 05 or something like that, where it took out like a May 5th. Yeah, it took a whole neighborhood and school down. Basically, it struck through the area, basically middle part of town, and lifted up and destroyed that. And that was 2005, because there was the May 3rd and what?
1999.
That was May 3rd. Then the next one was May 3rd didn't hit more, it hit the outside and hit like the banks and stuff like that.
There was one in 1999 that hit Norman because our roof, our chimney fell off. It was completely.
I mean, I get technically hit. Winds blew it over. That can happen all the time. High winds. But yeah, if you can rate high winds, and they could be like in 100 miles or 80 miles, and they can say that's an EF0 or whatever. And they can count that as a tornado. That's what Talia were doing. It's been hit. And I was like, what was the winds? Well, I was like, is it E through 0 or E through 5? And she's like, well, it's like E through 0, where it's like 60 miles per hour winds or something like that. So you could technically say.
Dangerous. He'll die from that.
Yeah, let me watch this. Let me watch this chimney, wind blow, and stand under this, and go ahead and fall on me. Yeah, that's how you're gonna die from that. The bricks are like, it's not like what you're. Okay, there you go. Technically, we're going off by technicalities that a tornado hit Norman, EF0. What I'm asking is like, when's the last time it's hit where I've stayed and it's like taking out a whole town, like this past, like last week when it took out Sulphur. If you look at in Sulphur, Oklahoma, last week a tornado like took out in the midtown, like Main Street, and took out buildings and stuff like that. That's what I'm getting to. Like, when's the last time a tornado's done that, where people should be really scared that a tornado's gonna hit? Okay, if you lived in Sulphur, yeah, you could be scared, but when's the last time it hit in Sulphur like that? Probably never. Maybe 50, 60 years ago or something like that. And then I live in the Cleveland County Moore area, so the last time it hit was like in we'll give it 2012. I'm guessing. I can look it up. I don't know where my phone's at, but yeah, so it's only hit in my area twice, where it's touched down on the outside of the area, and it knocked out like a bank and kind of like these other buildings on the outside about a highway, and I was close to that one. I was probably only like 12 for that one. And then there was another one where I was a little bit older, where I helped out, because I was able to help out because I was older and had my own car and stuff. It took out like this whole city, like took out bowling, hospitals, a school, part of the highway, jumped the highway, cleared some other stuff out, but jumped where the old Main Street here in Moore, it saved that. Like, it knocked out like houses, like flattened houses, legitimately flattened houses, taken up apart, uprooted a whole part, uprooted the houses. And so that happened in, I got the internet right here. There you go, 2013. So I was close. That's in 2012. Around that time. So 2013, I actually just came back from around that time when that happened. It was... I just got back from Las Vegas the previous year. And that tornado actually took out like this bowling alley, 7-Eleven, this hospital, multiple neighborhoods, like flattened out houses, like flat. There's nothing there. It's barren land. And that's what I'm talking about. I guess you can count as like other tornadoes, like EF0s. Like you can count that as a tornado. It says 2013. I just looked it up just now. So it's 2024. Since 2013, I lived in Norman. Norman's like 5-10 minutes from Moore. So I lived in Norman my whole life, and with living in Norman, knowing in Norman, then moved to Moore. That, okay, well, I guess, because there used to be a saying that don't move to Moore, there's a tornado that's going to hit all the time. And after that, like 99 one, you know, that was a thing that could possibly hit a tornado. And so people kind of believed that. And then until 2013, you know, 14 years later, you get hit by another one that just completely decimates the whole city. So 11 years later, now you get you get people that live here that have PTSD that probably freak out and they do freak out because I work at a dispensary. They do freak out every year when there's storms or even there's a little cloud in the sky to think that there's going to be a whole tornado. So apparently they don't have the news. They don't look at the news. They don't look at the radar system. They don't look at multiple radar systems. They don't give a fuck about being any kind of like home meteorologist to go sit outside and be like, okay, well, I could tell when the cold air and hot air mixes that, oh, it's about to be some tornado activity or some thunderstorm. And yeah, that is hard to understand graphs and look at analytics like that, but it really is easy if you just watch it a lot or you just get into it, like get into radars and then listen to a meteorologist or listen to somebody that does meteorology. So it's kind of easy to learn about weather forecasting in a sense. And then on top of that, I'm not scared to die by a tornado because the probability of a tornado hitting my house is probably like in the 10% or lower, really low every season. It's really low every season because the jet streams, if you go look at the jet streams and you go look at everything the day of that's storming, you could probably tell and guess where a tornado is going to develop, where there's going to be tornadic activities, and you could do that. Anybody could do that. But you know what? There's people that wake up and just look at the sky and be like, oh, there's going to be a tornado coming, and they get 100% scared. And you know what? You know what I could tell those people? Why don't you have a tornado shelter by now? You lived in Moore for 11 years, and you're scared every year that a tornado is going to hit. Why don't you have a tornado shelter? From what I've been asking people from when that happened like 10, 11 years ago, tornado shelters were really expensive, like in the 10Ks. Now we're in 11 years later that, they still kind of hold this value because they know we're in Tornado Alley in a sense, quotations, because tornadoes already hit here. So we're getting tornado shelters still in the 3K, 2,500. Even I seen some in the low in the thousands. But the 1,000 ones I would get for a legit 1,000 because all they do is come in, knock out a hole in your garage, and they put in this little shelter, and you sit in there, and that's it. Multiple people that come in a dispensary said they got those, and they paid $1,500, $1,700, $2,000, and it took them just a day's work for somebody to come dig a hole, drop it in there. So it's not like a 2-day process. It's not like a whole day process. It's honestly really easy. And you could say, oh, in this economy, I can't afford a tornado. Okay, well, in this economy, if you can't afford a tornado shelter, then what the fuck you living here for? Because you're scared every year. Every year, there's going to be a fucking cloud. You don't have a tornado shelter, nor you will try to go find a shelter at all. You just sit in your house and cry and worry about the fucking tornadoes. So why even worry about a tornado? You're just going to die anyways if a tornado hits because you don't have a shelter. EF0, EF5, if it's EF5, you're fucked. So just accept that you're going to die because you already accepted because you had 10 years, 11 years to get a shelter. Oh, let's even do 1999. 20 25 years to get a shelter, and you're still scared of tornadoes? The math ain't mathing. And then if you got kids, what's wrong with you dropping? I heard you get $3,000 for a kid. Now you got multiple kids, and let's say you even have a house and you have multiple kids. Why don't you use one of those fucking kid checks to get you a tornado shelter so you can save your family and your kids? But if you don't have a shelter, then if you don't have a shelter by now, then what are you complaining for? Then you got like clouds in the sky. You should just accept that you're gonna die because, or how about this? If you know there's tornadic activity, I like this. I like this option too. Let's go to another house that doesn't have a tornado shelter and let's all die together. Because that's what pretty much is going to happen. Because that happens all the time too, where we go to some family members and they don't have a house, or they have a house, or even they live in an apartment. I've been in those situations where went to aunt's apartment, no shelter, and then we're all sitting there, or they're crying. I've cried a couple times as a kid, like, oh, I'm going to die, because you can hear like the house shaking and stuff. So okay, that's scary. But outside of that, did I die? No, I didn't die. But I'm accepting if a tornado was to hit. I don't have a shelter. Obviously, I got one bum leg. I don't have my car. Where am I going to go? Am I going to scoot to my neighbors down? Because there's a neighbor that down the street, he has a shelter right down in there. But I'm pretty sure neighbors already had this idea. Let's go talk to Tom and he maybe let me get in there with him. Use common sense. Let's use common sense here. I'm on a bum leg. I just had ACL surgery. My wife's about to leave. So tornado drops down. What am I gonna do? I don't have a car. I can't just leave. I got my pups here. So the best thing I know what to do is if I know a tornado's about to hit me, is go put a mattress over the bed, over the shower, and then get my dogs. I'm going to put the harnesses on my dogs, get the leashes, and put the leashes on my dogs. So if a tornado does hit, at least I can hold on to them and they don't fly away. I'm pretty sure nobody thinks about that shit either. They just let their dogs run around and get scared and hold on to them versus like, hey, let's put a harness on them and put a leash and hold them tight to me. So in case a tornado does hit, they're not flying around out and about. People don't know how to, in stressful situations, don't know how to think of stuff like that. So I'm telling you right now, PSA, if you have dogs and you're in like some sort of disaster, it'd be wise to put a harness on them and then maybe putting a leash on them. So in case something disastrous happens, they're not scattered about around you. And then you're crying around in the neighborhood and the whole neighborhood's torn down. You're looking for your dog's scruffles. I'm just giving you some tips because you don't have a shelter. If you really cared about getting a shelter, you would have got one in the past 20 years. I really don't understand. I guess more I don't understand is because I work in a dispensary. People come in, there's a cloud in the sky. It looks like it's going to rain. I better get my weed early. And it doesn't storm at all. You get people calling in because there's a cloud in the sky. You get people calling in because it's not worth the time of their job to get hit by a tornado. Yeah, those are valid reasons. Those are valid reasons. No reason to be at a dispensary. They're not going to pay you insurance if you die. They're not going to give your family insurance. No reason to work at somebody had to complain to me because they had worked at a furniture store and they had kids at home. Yeah, I get it. If you have kids at home and you had some sort of PTSD, maybe your house got hit previously and more, and you lived in more this whole time. Yeah, that's legit reasons to go home. Not worth to lose your life over a fucking furniture store where they're not going to pay you anything. Those people are probably just paying for their own insurance. So let's check down that system. If you don't have money, why are you staying in more? Go live in the south side of Oklahoma City where stuff's cheaper, and definitely tornadoes are not rarely hit in the south side of Oklahoma City or even the inner city, like where the places are probably way cheaper. But no, you still choose to stay in more because of why? Because it's a good neighborhood, good town. Yeah, it's all of that above. So if you know all of that of the above, but then you have a phobia of tornadoes, why aren't you settling in and getting you a shelter? Especially if you have kids, multiple kids, and you're getting $3,000 per kid. And these kids, and you've been here 10 plus years, that's $30,000 per kid. At some point, you could have got a tornado shelter. So logically, I don't understand. I don't understand. People are afraid of dying, but don't want to prevent it in a way. They know there's tornadoes that are coming here. No. Sorry. They know there's tornadic activity across the state. So they think that, so since they live in like a city that's been hit by a tornado already, they think it's going to hit again, which is good, which is in a sense, I would say, in a sense, a common thought. Like, you would think that the air somehow mixes somewhere around in these local areas, like not in this town specific, but maybe like southeast, northeast, southwest, west, southwest, northwest, where you think you can watch the like meter, like the weather tracker, and you can get an understanding of like where the storms or what's going to be a thunderstorm or not. And also looking at the weather, you could see if it's making tails or anything like that. You can see funnel rotation, all that stuff. So it's just like, what I just don't get, like, if you live in a state where there's tornado activities, why aren't you getting a shelter? But instead, you're just going around telling people you're scared. Or you're calling in for work because you think there's going to be tornado activities, which is all right in a sense that, oh, there's a gray cloud in the sky, it's going to rain. Like, it could be possible. It's raining somewhere here in Oklahoma, but not in main characterville of Moore, Oklahoma. That doesn't technically, there's a cloud over here. That means all the clouds want to come now and wipe out Moore. That doesn't mean that shit. And I guess that's what people think, like main character syndrome. They think that, oh, I'm going to die all of a sudden. It's like, okay, well, main character syndrome, you should already have a shelter. Like, but people get mad over logic. That's the funny part. People, when you use logic, people think you're stupid. They think you're calling them stupid. It's like, no, I'm just using logic. Like, if I lived in a state that I was worried about dying over tornadoes, why wouldn't I not have a shelter? I love you too. Like, why would I not have a shelter? Oh, and then that goes out to anybody. If you're moving to Oklahoma, you probably need to get a shelter, a tornado shelter. If you live in, like, yeah, I'd say central, there's a pattern. I don't have the pattern, but I would say get a shelter so you don't have to worry about, like, you probably only use it a couple times, like get in it just to be safe. You'll use it for that, just to be safe. But that just to be safe, while y'all's in it, just to be safe, I'm still in my house, like up here playing video games until my Wi-Fi goes out. That's how safe I am. Like, I'm up here watching like radars and stuff like that, and looking at what could possibly happen, and that's how safe I am. Yeah, I get people, because I don't have a shelter to get into. And even if I had a shelter to get into, I wouldn't get into it probably till the last second, honestly. Until I can, like, see, like, hear, like, shit, and then okay, I've been close to probably 1 or 2 tornadoes in my life where it's not, like, technically, like, hundreds of feet in front of me or anything like that, but we'll use reference of mile out. We'll use a mile out. A mile out from a tornado, you're going to get debris. You're going to get debris coming your way. If there's tornadoes going on, and especially if it's close to you, like if it's legitimately close to you, you're going to get debris, like, hitting your shit. You're going to get debris like hell. You're going to get all this crazy rain. It's going to look crazy, like crazier than it ever does. We've seen crazy where it's like blinding rain, and I've seen hell, but it's never been in a situation where I've seen, like, it's... I guess, like, the only way I can explain it is the wind's going every which way. It's not like blowing one way, you know. I can sit outside and I can feel like I'm blowing. No, the wind's like, you're getting pushed, like, in a sense, almost up. But the wind is, in a sense, still. I guess I can't explain that. Like, it feels still, but around you, it's getting like sucked up. That's the only way I can explain. Like, you're getting close to a tornado is because you'll see debris. Like, there's debris flying, like a lot of debris. Because that means the tornado is getting close to you in a sense that it's sucking up shit and it's dropping it down. Like, it's dropping it down. Like, the tornado's sucking up the ground. Like, sucking up the ground. And whatever sucks up on the ground, it's drilling a hole, basically, in the ground, and it's sucking it up. And then when it sucks with all the debris just get expelled out in the stratosphere and gets expended miles and miles away out. But if you're close to a tornado, the debris around you...
I looked at my back in the mirror, and it reminded me of the aliens in Men in Black. Like, you know, like those fat aliens that were in the counter, like... And I was like, oh my God, that's me. Like, I am that person.
So, yeah.
G'day, guys and gals. What?
I'm here at... Giggles, what do you call a cantaloupe underwater? A watermelon.
Oh, look at that. See? Look at that. I'm gonna break this. Oh, there it is. There it is. That just means bring me the money. Hey, I'm sommelier Andre Houston Mack, and today I'm going to be tasting 10 tequilas ranging from about $20 to $175. There's so many different types of tequila out there, so what are you really getting for each type and at those price points? Today we're going to find out.
So let's take a look at the best Warhammer 40k tournament list with a quick check-in as to what's doing well out of 40k's last. So let's take a look at the best Warhammer 40k tournament list with a quick check-in as to what's doing well out of 40k's last balance update.
So, yeah, that's what we get with tornadoes. And then my wife had to leave because I don't... My wife doesn't like when I do hot takes because I don't... My wife can never tell me that I'm right. Like, I've never heard once in my life for 9 years out of my life with me and my wife, because my wife's just that kind of person that she's ever say, oh, that is good, you know, I get what you're saying, like, I get that, like, if you lived here, you need to get a shelter. Why am I worried every year? We've been here for 3 years in a tornado. So if I'm still worried today, why haven't we got a shelter yet? That's what I mean by that kind of stuff. Like, probably getting upset with me because I am making sense. Like, if you really that was scared of tornadoes, why haven't we got a shelter yet? Or why haven't you came to me or anybody, you know, anybody to your parents or anything like that and was like, oh, you know, Mom, I really don't want tornadoes. Every time a tornado hits or every time it gets cloudy this season, you're always calling me and worried. Like, why don't you build a shelter so call me and we can just all go over there? None of this happens. Look at me thinking of this kind of stuff, and when I say this kind of stuff, it makes me, she judges me like, oh, you're just being an asshole because, it's like, am I being an asshole, or am I logically thinking about this situation? Because I don't want to hear anybody, like, complain about, oh, a tornado's about to hit me, a tornado's about to hit, oh, I'm scared, a tornado's gonna hit, and it's like, all right. So in order to get rid of that kind of scared mentality, because that's all I'm going to hear is that I'm scared of a tornado. Can you watch the radar? Can you watch the radar? Can you watch it? Yeah, I'll watch the radar. So, okay, I'll watch the radar. But if you're scared and you're here, why don't our family members have a fucking shelter?
This list by Jeff Jew, going 6-0 at Loaded Dice May the 4th Open, a sort of small to medium grand tournament.
The only family member I knew that had a shelter that was very unusable, it was this cellar that my aunt had in front of her house in Castle. But we would never go down there. We was never able to get in the cellar. So what was the reason for this cellar? Oh, it's because they didn't want to go down there and clean it or anything. Like, I didn't understand. Why not? Like, you have this. I wish I had a cellar now. Anybody still have a cellar?
helped when linked attacks, and the Warboss can definitely help out with his huge chopper and making them hit more accurately as well. Then besides that, there's no less than 3 individual regular bosses, each with power claws, very fighty in the war, and using 2 terms of it is massively intimidating. One of them's joining a unit of 5 nobles with power claws, one a unit of 10 nobles with power claws, and one a big unit of 20 boys alongside a pain boy as well. That's a unit with 2 turns worth of 5+ invulnerable saves and 5+ feel no pains. Definitely going to take a serious amount of scraping to take them off objectives. The detachment's got some pretty nice stratagems as well, some good damage boost ones, and a sort of Orky arc of contempt versus ranged attacks with the AP-1 debuff. That one's great for Mega Mobs who already have great durability. Otherwise, we've got objectives
So, yeah.
with 3 units of 10 Gretchen, always good for those stratagems and just being cheap units to do secondaries and things. 2 units of 5 Storm Boys, very fast moving secondary threats. Boss Snickrot as the Orky lone operative, who I'm really not too surprised to see here. Some people seem to be a bit uncertain as to whether he'd be used, but I did think he was very likely to see play. Between all that, that's really quite a lot of objective support, while all the bosses and the knobs get to killing the enemy in earnest. There's 4 trucks to transport them there. I guess that's 2 units of the 5 Mega Nobs, and the 5 and the 10-man Nob squad, and the last Mega Nobs might rapid ingress. Overall looks pretty terrifying. If any of these units can virtually anything that they get their claws on, they're going to cause scene damage. Into the wire is really quite scary for getting to grips with the foe as well. Next up, we've got a Chaos Space Marine army, this one in as Wilson, who used to take first at Clan Wars Scottish Open, going 5-0 at a slightly bigger GT of 43. Again, really not too surprised to see Chaos Space Marines doing significantly better since they had all those points cuts. They are a faction that can just spit out some massive damage with the Marks of Chaos type combos. It looks like this list is going for the Abaddon plus Hellbrute combo, which means that you can be re-rolling all your hit rolls and have double Dark Pats going off on a 5+. Just an absolutely obscene combo of power boost there from the already efficient Chaos Predator Destructors and Vindicators that already get a whole ton of hits due to the Nurgle giving them sustained hits on a 5+. I might guess that Abaddon might be running solo and just using the Mark of Nurgle to protect him as needed. I guess he could be running with one of the Legionary units, or he could just be hanging out with the tanks, handing out some obscene firepower and then being a countercharge threat later on. Otherwise, there's 2 Rhinos, which I'd guess the Legionaries are broadly going to be jumping out of, 4 units of 5 Legionaries with 2 heavy melee weapons, plasma pistols and chainswords. They'll get the Mark of Slanesh for loads of sustained hits in melee, plus the option to advance and charge the 1 CP when he needs. At least 2 of those will be led by Chaos Lords with Thunderhammer Plasma Pistol and Mark of Slanesh. Not really too surprised to see these being used in place of Chosen as an alternative. Now these are 18 Chosen at 130. They look really quite scary indeed with all their re-rolls against things on objectives. There's 1 Cultist mob with the sticky objectives and the Mark of Nurgle, 2 units of 3 Chaos Spies, which are fantastically efficient skirmish units that can still threaten a surprising amount of damage. They've got 2 Multi-Guns and a Power Fist, 2 units of Slaneshi Warp Talons with all the sustained hits. As mentioned, the firepower units, the Hellbrute has Multi-Melter and Fist, and not too surprised to see a Chaos Vindicator here with the Mark of Nurgle, which do seem very scary on paper. Finally, there's just 1 unit of allied Nurglings, which are basically always be for screening or maybe secondary options. Cool to see Chaos Bag and winning Grand Tournament straight out of the gate. I guess all of this might be a little bit short though, as their codex is coming really quite soon. Next up, and as people were expecting, it seems that the Necrons are still here and doing fine. The biggest event of last weekend in the Richmond Open was won by Necrons run by Joshua Campbell. This one going down a Canoptech court list and not really deviating too much from the units that were taken before, but due to the vast majority of these units going up in one form or another, there's just a bit less stuff here. As for plenty of the Canoptech court list, there's 3 units of 6 Wraiths with the Particle Casters and the Claws. They're all led by Technomancers, even if the Technomancers cost a lot more now, or taking Dimension Sanction for the Infiltrate. Otherwise, there's a Plasmancer and a big unit of Immortals, so big rerolls and lots of stack saves against anything that's sitting on an objective there in particular, and Illuminor Seraz, who I'm guessing will be along with them, allowing his nice AP buffs and debuffs, just generally being a very threatening lone operative next to Necron infantry in his own right. The only units that went down here, yeah, 1 unit of 5 of them, which I think are very efficient little objective grabbers now, not even bad on damage and defense. 2 individual Locust Destroyers, always quite nice for screening a little bit of firepower or maybe doing secondary work. Then loitering in the backfield, 2 Canoptech Doomstalkers that get the big rerolls in this detachment and just really nice elite firepower, and just 1 Transcendent Catan list going up 10
points and still being just crazily durable and hard to take out for enemies, but not having quite the same sort of threat as the Nightbringer or Void Dragon. Overall, maybe not a huge amount of adaptation to any sort of new units here, and just going with the same stuff but lesser. Despite a win, it looks like Necrons really aren't going to be anywhere near as far ahead of the rest of the field as they were before. Second at that same big event, we've got the Chaos Demons. This list by David Edelman, going 5 wins and 1 draw. I do feel like Demons might not be in the worst place in the world going into the next meta after the balance update. They did have really quite a high tournament win rate before, even if they weren't winning loads of events, and they got no changes, while really quite a lot of the higher up armies got nerfs of one sort or another. As well as this one, it looked like they won another grand tournament this weekend too. This one's a very character-heavy one. Bellicor to shield the army from long-range shooting early on, Scarbrand for his massive melee, a great unclean one as basically one of the more auto-include demon units with endless gift for just crazy durability. Hard to go wrong with him just waddling up to one of the midfield objectives. A Keeper of Secrets with the Shining Aegis and the Witchstealer Sword, and then a Ren Master on Blood Throne to help out 3 units of 3 Blood Crushers and cause them to hit the enemy very, very hard. I wonder if some of those might be charging out of reserve, maybe using Bellicor's Shadow to get there. Otherwise, for important things, there's the Mask of Slanesh as a fast lone operative, 3 units of 3 Nurglings, and sturdy unit of Plague Bearers for a bit of objective control. Looks like the only draw was against Tau here. Overall, kind of nice. Chaos Demons doing well. They do still seem to be rather focused on things though. Otherwise, taking a look at some winners of smaller events, this Grey Knights list run by Chase Chappell took first at the PCG Lightly Salted 40k Spring GT, going undefeated in a 29-player tournament. The Grey Knights changes were increases for Red Knights and Librarians and decreases for Power Armoured Marines. Not sure if that factors into the decision to run with 10 purifiers. They were kind of used but maybe not auto-include before, but certainly dropping 10 points doesn't hurt them at all. They can drop in, maybe use the 3-inch deep strike thing to deliver them, and then just absolutely blast away massive hordes of enemy infantry, a brutal amount of anti-infantry purifying flame type shots, plus 5 incinerators and a whole ton of stormbolter fire. If they can then go and Mist of Damos after that, then all well and good. Otherwise, there's Caldor Drago and 2 Brotherhood Libraries, one of which takes the Sigil of Exigence. Looks like there's only 2 Terminator squads, 1 Brotherhood Incinerator, and 1 unit of 5 Paladins with 2 Hands. I certainly guess that Drago would go with one of those, maybe the Brotherhood Terminators perhaps, given the lethal hits on the charge. You can get them into combat pretty reliably, and otherwise I'd guess maybe the other Librarian goes with the other unit, and perhaps the Sigil of Exigence one could run solo. At least he could port to safety if the enemy tries to shoot him. Seems that it's still not enough to discourage people from taking Brotherhood Librarians though. The mortal wounds to help the Grey Knights out against heavies still seem to be worth the 120 points. Otherwise, we've got 3 Dread Knights, both with incinerators and Psy Cannons. One's the Grandmaster variant, and the other 2 are regular ones, and they take the Nemesis Demon Great Hammers, really quite dedicated anti-heavy stuff there. And then 5 is a unit of fast-moving interceptors, and a unit of 5 strike squads to help them mark some objectives. Overall, it does seem like a really nicely balanced Grey Knights list. I feel like with the last points changes, Games Workshop does seem to have struck a good balance between Power Armor Terminators and Dread Knights, where all 3 elements are quite usable. Having lists that can incorporate all 3 elements like this, plus also win grand tournaments with a great player, just feels like it's a bit of a win from Grey Knight's balance, at least for most of the important units. Next up, and we've got some Space Wolves running their Stormlance task force, this one winning a 25-player grand tournament by Linton Rowan, using the Space Wolves to take first at Carnage at the Keep May Mayhem. This one's certainly Stormlance Space Wolves are a different sort of direction. The core of the list is basically, as you'd expect for quite a lot of the cookie cutter ones of these, 3 big chunky scales of Thunder Wolves led by battle leaders and wolf lords each. In Stormlance it means they can all advance and charge. They're enormously threatening on the charge given the buff the wolves give the characters and vice versa, plus have access to some pretty amazing mounted stratagems, that one for -1 to hit and wound at range. Put all the efficient units with a lot of wounds and good invulnerable saves, they've got a fair recipe for success. The characters here all take Power Fists and Storm Shields, and for the Wolf Lords, one of them takes the Portents of Wisdom Enhancement, and one with Hunter's Instincts. Those ones are the reroll advanced ones, and the setup in the first battle round as per strategic reserves. Then to support them, they've got Logan Grimnar on foot, who just looks like being run solo here. He gives you the enormous turn of rerolls to charge and rerolls to hit in close combat, which gives you yet more melee damage. He isn't too bad in his own right. A sturdy Terminator character that can hit pretty hard in melee and could drop to do secondaries and things as well. And then to help him out with the objective support game, there's a lone operative combi weapon lieutenant and 2 units of infiltrators. I guess one dispatched to hold down the home field objective. The other one could do midfield things perhaps. Then, rather than supporting with maybe a bit more of a balanced Space Marine thing though, I did think it was kind of hilarious that this one backed up the entire thing with just 3 Vindicators. I guess being tempted by the fact they dropped down a fair bit in the last points update, for 175 points. So some really quite efficient demolisher fire there. I guess if you line up one or more of these and drop both a moment on the target, really good chance of just blasting through whatever heavy enemy target rears its head. I do like the commitment to the simplicity of this list though. Thunderwolves up the front, big siege cannons at the back. Every unit really quite terrifying in its own way. Indicators here could access, advance and shoot if they needed to for 1 CP with blitzing fusillade. Kind of cool to see such a different random take on the Space Wolf Stormlands. Next up, their bitter rivals in the Thousand Suns. This one was run by Sam Nash, using it to take first at Winchester GT. On a smaller event of 23 players. In the balanced update, Thousand Suns went pretty well beforehand, got a couple of small nerfs to their enhancements, but then got some buffs to a bunch of their support things, including things like cultists and Scarab Cult Terminators maybe being some of the most interesting. This list for the most part maybe to be sticking at least somewhat close to what came before though. Lots of Rubik Marines backed up by an overabundance of Sorcerers plus Infernal Masters, with Magnus and Araman leading the way. I guess perhaps the biggest variations from the norm are 3 Infernal Masters, one with Arcane Vortex, even though it increased in price. The Rubik Marines are all fielded in multiple small unit type units, 5 units of 5 of them with Soul Reaper Cannon each and Warp Flamers. And there's perhaps more cultists than you might have seen in some of the list in the past. 3 units of 10 of them with their special weapons. They drop down to 55 points and they get Scout and their invulnerable save in Thousand Suns. Otherwise, just lots of terrifying tricks on offer here. Rubik Marines should handle enemy infantry units really quite nicely. Magnus himself is the big linchpin of the army with some massive rerolls and enormous damage against whatever he can read. Really great for focusing stratagems and Kabbalistic rituals on. Araman gets his free ritual and +1 wound for his unit. The Infernal Masters spit out a whole bunch of magical firepower which could be fired at the top of the Rhino if it made sense. The Arcane Vortex is the nastiest one with a +1 to strength and damage. The regular sorcerers have their disruptive ability to prevent shooting at greater than 18 inches, keeping their units quite safe, and the Exalted one can potentially hand out a 4+ invulnerable save to a unit, or has binding tendrils to really mess with enemy movement and could slow down something really important by halving its movement things. Overall, just loads of tricks, options, and a whole bunch of psychic damage coming in from all the characters, and a massive amount of Cabal points with to use those scary rituals like moving saves, double moves, or doom bolts. I still feel like Thousand Suns are probably going to be a faction to watch at the top levels. They seem to be in a pretty good place, being long before. And a few things buffed in the index. Wouldn't be too surprised if at least a few more people experimenting with things like Scarab Cult. Next up, for the Sisters of Battle, again I'm not too surprised to see them doing kind of well. They had a fair few high placings over the weekend, including an event win, this list being from the biggest tournament of the weekend, placing 5th at the Richmond Open, run by Jeffrey Kolodner. This one's got a whole load of Sisters staple units, but maybe a few swings towards things that went down in cost a little. More than Val plus Paragon Warsuits, one of the most common includes in Sisters armies right now, just enormously efficient damage with the big rerolls and things. There's a second unit of Paragons without Val, and they take a mix of maces and swords. For the foot troops, there's 3 big units, 10 Battle Sisters. They have multi-melt Simulacrum, Meltagun, Condemner, and Power Weapon. One of them swaps the Meltagun for a Ministor and Flamer instead. I'd guess that at least some of those might be being split in half with the Immolators to make some multiple small unit style sisters. There's 2 Immolators here with multi-melters to transport to the front and hand out some nasty rerolls to the multi-melters and the units. There also does seem to be a unit of 5 Retributors here, so again not sure if one of those is going for an Immolator transport. If you could potentially even do some sort of swapping out around the units early in the game if it made sense. Have some split Battle Sisters jump out and Retributors jump in, provided they're safe to do so. There's definitely a serious amount of Meltifire that you can't really ignore with an Immolator with multi-melters with Retributors inside though. Otherwise, for long-range fire support, there's 2 Castigators with the battle cannons for the ignore cover for some longer-range anti-tank or heavy infantry. some cheapish novitiates who I think might be being joined by the Palatine with the Blade of St. Eleanor, and for other support characters we've got Junior Therita for her command point farming and heavy flamer things, and an Imagifier with Saintly Example. That's the one that allows you to farm a few miracle dice when they die, and get to be miracle dice for sororitas being destroyed within the 12-inch range of them. Finally, for some objective support, there's the Demonofuge, having dropped down to 70 points, Ephrael Stern and Kaiganil. Now seem like really quite a good deal, really quite tanky as lone operatives, and fights first can make them problematic for enemies to deal with in combat. Some Seraphim with hand flamers that can move to allow you to get to really quite interesting positions on the board or starting in deep strike. And 3 individual mortifiers who drop down to 55 points. They've got heavy bolters and twin boss blades. Feel like the units hard to go too far wrong with really, just all around pretty good both in damage and defense. Again, the Thousand Sons statistics seem to be in a really good place as well. They were also one of the strongest armies by win rate and winning lots of big events as well. Did take a few small nerfs to their more peripheral objective support type units and Arco-Flagellants, but genuinely some good units got buffs like the Demonofuge and the Mortifiers as well, both of which seem to have been good enough to include in this top list. Finally, last but not least, the Sons of Sanguinius seem to be represented, and this Blood Angels list by Christopher Irvine took second at the Clan Wars Scottish Open, going 4-1 in this 40-odd player tournament. The Blood Angels have been doing fairly well in the previous balanced data slate, not the highest win rate in the world, but had been winning some big events. If anything, I thought Games Workshop was to be perhaps surprisingly punitive to them. Death Company, Lamatis, and Sanguinary Priests all going up by 10 points. Fairly squarely hitting most of the things that were commonly taken in competitive armies. Still doesn't seem to be able to take them as competitive play though, as I do quite like this army list, just being really quite a nice varied one with lots of different options on the table. Still seems that the untested Lamatis with the big unit of Death Company with jump packs is good enough to hit the table. They went up 30 points overall for that unit, but are still absolutely brutal in damage with all those reroll hits on Inferno Pistols and Power Fists, plus Lamatis is -1 damage for the unit. There's still a chaplain in a rhino with a whole bunch of regular Death Company Marines with loadout. Otherwise looks like there's an Impulsor with a captain with Power Fist leading some regular assault interceptors. Really scary in Sons of Sanguinius. You get +2 to your strength on the charge. That's a whole bunch of strength 6 and strength 10 attacks. Potentially re-rolling the wound rolls as well. For some more quality jump packs, it still seems that the Vanguard veterans are being the nod over the Sanguinary Guard despite their decrease. There's a big unit of 10 Van Vets with Storm Shields, again hitting with high strength here, potentially having lethal hits on the charge, and the Sanguinary Priest gives them better AP and a feel no pain. There's the Sanguinor for his heroic intervention to just warp onto the board and cut up some enemies, and beyond that there's a little bit of objective and firepower support, 2 units getting jump intercessors which can still hit very hard on the charge and attachment, 1 unit of scouts which are skewed towards a bit more of a combat loadout, taking some combat knives, a Gladiator Lancer so enemy armor can't relax, a Bile Predator with the Flamestorm Cannon and some heavy flamers, a massive overwhelming threat in the midfield to worry one objective, and then as mentioned an Impulsor and a Rhino. The Impulsor takes the shield dome. Overall nice to see Blood Angels aren't out of the running here. I was genuinely wondering if the points increases on basically all their good units might be a bit too much for them to bear. Might not be too surprised if some lists going forward use a few more jump intercessors, given that they went down to 80 points and are still kind of awesome list attachments. In any case though, pretty fun to check in on a few competitive lists for the new meta in Warhammer 40k. Let me know your thoughts on the armies down in the comments below, or if you have any insights as to how they were played or any mistakes I've made here. Should be fun to take a look maybe in a couple of weeks time to have a look at some tournament win rates and things, and which armies are having the best time of it currently. If you've enjoyed the video, then feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics. I'll certainly keep the regular 40k videos coming. I do tend to post new ones just about every day. Finally, if you have been enjoying videos on the channel, I'd like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page as well. You can find that link in the video description if you'd like to help support and keep these coming. Channel patrons do get a fair few advantages, certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things come next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with the chance to win some big hits each month. If that sounds good to you or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.
A bit
a bit nervous. I'm gonna be real. Did you beat Ultron? You can beat Fatalis. We'll see what happens. Okay, let me get a few of these things done. Do I have any of these done? No, not yet. Okay, let me go get my stuff. Alrighty, collect my harvest. I also started doing flash bugs as well because I was going to start using flash pods. Because I might have to. It's not that I want to, it's just that I have to. Are any of these things good? What about this? Is this any good? No, all garbage. Okay, what about this one? All garbage. This one? Also all garbage. Okay. It's all free at this point? Yeah, basically, but I don't really need any of that stuff. Okay. Well.
That's my partner.
Good to work with Archeon. I think it's some future investigations. Can we coexist with monsters? Plus elder dragons. I think we can understand what's possible. Do you think the monster will be in the same world with us? I think we can answer as soon as we confronted it. Also, I totally get why people want to accept Ultron's existence. Okay, so that was just fucking bullshit. Alright, who do I talk to? The commander? Purple? Alright. Actually, I need to do something. Give me a second. So if I'm fighting a new boss, I need to change my gear. Do Kluve Teroth event quest? I will do 2 attempts on this like super hard dragon, and then I do want to fight the other monsters. Okay. I'm debating whether I should use the armor set or my old armor set. Because like, the Frostcraft is really, really good. The Raging Brachiodos? Yeah. Minus 15 fire res? Yeah, okay. That's probably a good point. Okay. Alright, we'll go with that. And then this weapon. Should I use this weapon, the Light Blade, or should I use the Ultron Revolution? The Ultron weapon? Okay. Alright. And I guess I need to swap over. What are my gems in my weapon? Set decorations, current equipment. Okay, give me 1 second. I've got to figure out where I'm going to put these other items. Oh, I have agitator on that one. And ice attack as well. Oh no, that was on something else. Quick sheath. That would be really good. Let me see what I've got for my my buffs here. Okay. I think we could use maybe critical boost. Weakness exploit would be really good too.
What's up, stream? What's up, stream? Had to make a posting, sorry. And I had to run to the trilogy. That's Creed for bathroom. The trilogy. That's Creed for bathroom. Ooh, I'm getting more fat on my face. So last year I had a whole like transplant. So for the past like 4 years, I've been looking like either I've been swollen like from foods, and it makes you look different than this. Like this is like looking more healthy fat. Like, and plus I'm getting older. I'm 37 now, so skin's starting to get a little bit crazier. But saying all that, still face shape, and this is always had a big head, so this is what it's always gonna be as I'm looking. But and more I'm looking, I'm look healthier for the past like 4 years. I've been going on. Oh, sorry, I was hearing. I got my camera up. So for the past like 3 to 4 years, I've been on like kidney failure. For sure 4 years, but 3 years, 2020, 2023. Kidney failure, and I was on dialysis. But with kidney failure, you get swollen, like you get water retention. And this is different from water retention. This is definitely fat. But water retention makes you look like you're about to pop, like you're full of water. And you could tell, like, if you had like water retention, like your wrist would be bigger. I wouldn't be able to like touch my wrist as like I'm doing right now. Like you see how my fingers are going over. Like before, like when I had like water retention, like my wrist got this big where I couldn't even like put my fingers around my wrist at all. Like they were like this. Like let's say if I was trying to squeeze and try to put my wrist together, like my fingers together, I wasn't able to do that. But now with third kidney in my body that's doing the best, like, and then a new pancreas, I don't need diabetes. Like I don't have to check my diabetes no more, which is a great thing. Which is a wonderful thing at that. The best part about streaming right now is it's low budget content. Well, when I say low budget, there's low effort in a sense that like I'm just doing this for fun. I don't need to. I go from Twitch and I put my videos straight from Twitch to YouTube, and that's about all I do. And I mean, really, I'm just hanging out. But I guess I get it where people want to do this for a living, and you want to basically do this for full time. And when I say full time, means if I'm streaming, and then as soon as I'm done streaming for another maybe a couple hours, I work on editing, and then I put out those videos. So let's say I stream for four hours, and then I should be editing for 2, and so that's 6 hours, and then I go to sleep. That should be the norm. If this is a job for you, what I would think, the way I would do it. But since this ain't a job to me and I'm just having fun, I just turn on a camera and doing little, as you can see, like little stuff like the Rusty Pot, like right there. That's my friend's dispensary. So if you're ever in Oklahoma and you got your medical card, go check out the Rusty Pot. They got amazing product. You got amazing product. You should go check them out. But yeah, I'm only here just to have fun. And this is the smoke cam. I had a smoke cam, which I do got a smoke dojo. Let's see the smoke dojo. Sorry, that was the smoke dojo. It's under construction right now. I had to get some new seats in there before I go chill and smoke in there. I actually got to get a new filtration for the smoke, because when I smoke in there, I don't want to be coughing all the time. I want the smoke to like go up and then leave. Julius, Julius! Get it. Get it. Get it, Max. Get it. Get it. Get it, Julius. Get it. Get it, baby. Get it for me. Thank you. Take it, Julius. Take it somewhere. Thank you, baby. Thank you, Julius. Thank you, Julius. Get it, Julius. Take it. Take him. Get it, Julius. Get him. Get it, Julius. Get him. Get it, Julius. Get him. Get him, baby. Get him. Thank you. He might go to bug hunter. Julius is my little bug hunter. There's a little June bug. So we can listen to music and we're actually going to smoke. Let me turn this down because I can get money over bitches. You never had a woman unless she a witness. Five for the business, five for the fittest. Jagger try to weed and the titties. Veteran had the cash. Come here, Julius. Julius. Baby, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Light it up. Cause I'm a smoker. She tried to deep fuck around and choked her. Young money, bloody fucking game over. Thought it told you try to act like I'm doing yoga. With those lows, I'm a sinner. Pain pills for dinner. Bitch, I got the money like I got a money printer. Got the stoppers in the gymmer. Right gymmer. Got the water, but it better need a swimmer. If I ain't know about y'all. Then my phone. And this Anita Baker's. And they can be going. Think of the things as far as, well, yeah, fuck you, bitch. I am wrong. It's that's right, baby. It ain't known that it be a bite, baby. And the request, please don't bite, baby. I got some bomb ass pussy from a white lady. Rain dying like a child, like a Nickelodeon. Smoking a lot of weed, as bigger bitches off my mind. Girl, stop talking that shit. Don't suck it for a new outfit. Yeah, when the side comes falling, and it is still getting high. I got faith in my weed, man. They buy the bean bag, with the bands to the side, find the screen pass. In the red band, it was the team flag. Probably back in for face. Snails supposed to have a backside for the way. Ooh, 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 ooh. Julia. Oh, yeah, love you, sweetheart. Ooh, little Max. Baby. Sweetheart. It's Daddy's hat. That's Daddy's hat. That's Daddy's hat. You're a sweet boy. You're a sweet boys. Oh, it's a sweet baby. You're a sweet boy. You're a sweet boy. Wake up, light the blood up for a fella, see my bitchy like a Cherokee, like I'm selling keys, my dick up like a therapy, rather life I guarantee, my living a life vicariously, your life will be the death of me, and where I ski, where the roads are there at feet, like where they're wearing me, the fact that much is saying me. My baby boy, look at these doggies, ow! Yeah. Let's get married. Let's get married. Eat your ball. It's not your ball, it's a rope. Ain't them bitch in it. He's scary. You're scary. You're scary. You're scary. You're scary. Yeah, oh, sweetie boy. He's a sweetheart. Julius is a sweetheart. And whereas be the brother hard than kerosene. Ravens out of everything, I might hit them out everything. Ravens with a wedding ring, that's a wedding ring. I don't compete, but we can't compete. Middle things that drain to ones. That is things that were favorite ones. I'm rocking, I'm swerving, I'm popping. We got a whole ounce. I rub my hand, Birdman. Rubber cup, Greenhead. This is what he did. Wow, my headphones. This mic picks up even my headphones. That's crazy. Wow. I need better headphones. Or I need a better mic. I don't know which one it is. I don't know. And I have a good enough, too good of a mic. Look at this guy. It's my little Julius. He's watching. He's not she. Sorry, he's watching his brother. He's making sure his brother's at the window right now. What you doing, baby? Just hanging out. You tired? It's your bedtime, huh? Yeah, it's your bedtime, baby. Huh? You good boy. You good boy. You good boy. You good boy. Me too. This guy around here. I got a Yorkie down here. He's a good boy. All right. All right. He said like a Yorkie. That's that terrier in him. Look at him. It's my baby. It's my baby. It's him. Mixed bag. Oh. He likes the sleeves. He wants that. I'm good. It's scary, huh? It's scary. It's scary, huh? It's scary. You gotta make it scary, huh, puppy? Oh, it's scary, huh? It's scary, huh? Yeah. It's scary. Look, I hate this. Look, I'm getting cold. I'm getting hot. Go, Julius, go. Go, baby, go. Go, baby, go. Yeah, me take from my left side. Thank you, very long. Me take right there, thank you. I was with a bifle. 340 and then 3 turned up and this thing said but fucks. Trucks and fucked up and homie jumped up and the that fucking don't say be jam to DJ run be drink for that first. So I think smooches these things. Look at you. Look at us. Oh, yeah. And ruin your black tie affair. Was the last one you thought you'd see there? And I took his glass of champagne. I got friends in low places. Do 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 do. And I'll be okay. And I got big on social great. This think I slip on down to the oasis. So I got friends in low places. I got friends in low places where the whiskey drank and the beer chases my blue. That's what did, Jan. No, he mess it up. When you're before, don't put you in your. You're just like an angel. I gotta pause this because I'm gonna turn up the music, so. All right. I had to turn the mic off because I'm posting on Snap, and you definitely got to turn the music off so I don't get DMCA'd. I'm coming. Dun, 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 dun. There's no way. Oh, I know why y'all can hear this. I know exactly why y'all can hear this. How about now? Yeah, that's the reason. I'm probably this whole shit's probably about to get DMCA'd. Put a little makeup. Take a table. Thank you, trust. Self-righteous suicide. I'm crying. When angels deserve to. Wake up. Put a little makeup. Better set it at a table. Better set it with a table. Better set it at a table. You want to. Better set it at a makeup. You want to. You want to. You want to. Come on. Come on. Forsaken me right there. You say Veggie, secret that night, Mr. E. Let me get my pup. He's out here being, he wants to be outside, but it's like, dude, it's about to rain. Let me get my pup. Joyce, get in here. It's raining. Come on. Come on. Get in here. Stay. Joyce, stay. Come here. Come here, baby. Max, move. You're not wet. Max, go, baby, go. I love you. Go. Your brother's wet. He was out there. Go, go, go. Max, you got wet. Come on, boys, move. We love you. Are you good? It's like over here right now. It's about to hit us. It's supposed to be raining. Yeah, it's just a thunderstorm, but yeah, it hasn't even hit us yet. It just started raining. So like sprinkling. Yeah, it said hit till 12 midnight. Man, this I'm about to watch this cowboy Keith. This cook, he does ranch style cooking. That's what I know, ranch style cooking, like what my grandma and them did. Basically, chuck wagon kind of style cooking, like out of a cast iron. That's what I like. And this guy just started watching. He does that kind of cooking. His name's Cowboy Kent. He works on. He actually's been a ranch hand. Well, now he has his own ranch, but he used to be like a cook for like they would go out and ranch and or maybe do other stuff like he was like pork foraging and he was just a cook. He was the cook for that. Okay. All right. I love you. Okay. Bye. Come here, Max. Come on. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here, baby. Julius, Ray, you okay? Come on, Julius. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hey. Julius, come on, baby. Come on. Look, come on. Come on. Come on. Julius, come on. Lay down, baby. Maxwell, do you need something on the ground? It's okay. It's just the rain. It's okay.
Working on something else that I'm getting pretty good at too. And you know what that is?
All right, we're gonna watch some Cowboy Kent right now.
I've practiced magic tricks for a long time.
I've been watching him lately. He does like chuck wagon style cooking. And if you don't know what that is, it's like he cooks an orange skillet over coals or some over fire. He does like old school, like if you was like on a if you was like on the like Oregon Trail or something like that, or you're a cowboy or a ranch hand and you're out at the ranch all the time and you're outside and you gotta like watch the cattle. And some people like had to watch their cattle and stuff like that. So with that, they had to like be there.
Hey, thank y'all for stopping by camp. And what are we talking about today? The Big Mac casserole. Now, y'all remember when I made the Big Mac video? We're going to do that. Now, this is a little thing that we may have to change. This is called a patty of meat.
But yeah, so if my stream goes down, that means the electric goes out and my internet went down because we're in a thunderstorm right now.
And you can see just a
supposed to have 80-mile-per-hour winds.
Top. Can y'all see the difference here? I mean, even if you're standing away from the camera, can you see the difference here? Let me get down here. This is a Big Mac, McDonald's style.
Yeah, we're doing good.
This is a Big Mac cowboy style. You've got to have a muscle to hold this one up. But folks, I am making it easier than ever.
I've been watching the radar, so I just know it's like a thunderstorm, so I just got to sit it out. So.
Everybody knows when you get a Big Mac what is there. Not just the meat, the special sauce that goes on there with it. And everybody sings that song.
Yeah, that's
I
what
don't
probably
remember the
is.
words. 2 all beef patties,
Yeah,
special
but it's supposed to be
sauce,
a strong
something,
wind
something
tail,
on a
but
sesame seed.
I think it
Boom.
passed Josie already. It should have passed Josie already because it was hit her first. It's finally hitting us now.
Cheese
So.
pickles minus lettuce. Cheese pickles. Oh, what am I saying?
Y'all know I am a Duke's mayonnaise fan. Now, I've had a lot of people say, Kent, you need to try Blue Plate. Blue Plate mayonnaise.
I think when I was talking to her, she said that you were calling her. So
Right out of the jar.
And give us an honest opinion.
I just got off the phone with her like
To me,
5
it
minutes
tastes
ago.
a little bit sweeter than Duke's.
Yeah,
But they're very
Mustang. She's
similar
at
in
the
a
big
way.
hospital.
But if this didn't have a label on it,
Yeah,
I
she's
might
good
call it
there.
Hellman's.
Oh.
I don't know. So we're gonna start,
she's in
and
that
folks, I'm
bunch
gonna
again.
measure this out today because it's really gonna help. No, we're not gonna measure it out. We're gonna use a cup full of mayonnaise. To that,
Yeah,
we're gonna add
that's
some
what it looks
ketchup.
like. I'm looking at that big radar too.
There is
Hopefully-
relish in there. Now, we're going to
All
use
right,
about.
I'll call you if something happens.
Deal is today. We're going to use
All right,
about
love you,
3
bye.
and a half to 4 of them. We're going to call it about right there. I'm going to cowboy it up. We're going to go with the sweet and spicy
Look.
green chili mustard.
Julius, come here,
and
baby.
it makes really good
Come on,
Big
Max.
Macs. So we're going to go about, that much right there. But folks, we need to add some garlic powder. So
Julius,
put some
baby,
down
come
in
here.
there. See which way the wind's blowing. It is blowing that direction today. So we're going to put about that much in there. Smoked
Julius, where you at,
paprika.
baby?
Gotta have it. We need that color. Anybody in the crowd know what it's missing right now before we go any further? Somebody raise your paw up. Anybody got a paw up and know? Cletus, hey, do you know what we're missing? Mage, y'all come on up here and give me some help. Come on. And I think this would be a good time, Cletus. Hey, Big says I don't share Big Macs. This would be a good time, Cletus. Yeah. For you to introduce us to whoever you brought up here with you that we call Chloe. We don't know her real name, don't know where she belongs, but she has found out that this is bread and breakfast too. Folks,
So how many you got now? How many
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 helpers in camp here today. That is a culinary crew, it is. I'll tell you what it's missing. Onion.
Gotta watch
You
the
got to have that
radar.
onion. Now, I prefer to use a white onion in this. Just slice the top end off of it. Do not disturb the root end. We're gonna need that on there. We gotta get it peeled. I like to leave it pretty finely diced because I love the crunch. Finely chopped. Me and Shannon had this discussion many times, folks, about minced, chopped, and diced. I'm gonna put these right in here if you don't mind. Okay, thank you. So, when you get to this point, take your knife, go right down the outside edge, go to the root end, okay? Not all the way through, because this is how we're gonna get us minced, diced, chopped, whatever you wanna call them, onion. We're gonna come back from the other direction, slice on through here. It's a